Excellent. Welcome, everybody. We're really excited for this opportunity and for this really informative webinar. To get things kicked off, I'll give you a quick update or introduction to the World Trade Center Utah, as well as an introduction to our webinar partner, Coupang Marketplace, and our great friend here, Gerald. A quick introduction to World Trade Center Utah. The WTC Utah elevates Utah's global status and international engagement. We help Utah companies increase revenue and create jobs by expanding international sales, attracting foreign investment, and facilitating international partnerships. WTC Utah also strengthens Utah's international business industry by providing a range of services to Utah companies in order to accelerate their global growth. These include publicly funded trade promotion services that are provided at no cost to Utah businesses, as well as global service membership benefits for dues-paying members. So again, like I said, we're really excited to partner on this webinar with Coupang and Gerald and his team. And as the world's fourth largest e-commerce market, Coupang Marketplace is a service where sellers can directly access a customer base of over 20 million. In a nutshell, it's a cross-border e-commerce offering where global businesses ship directly to their customers in Korea. As Coupang's head of global marketplace, Gerald Hoe leads the growth of Coupang's rapidly expanding global selling business, focusing on sellers outside the Greater China region. Gerald's primary objective is to bring the world to Korea by onboarding high-caliber sellers to Coupang Marketplace and expanding the global selection for Korean consumers. In addition to guiding sellers through the registration process, Gerald's team ensures sellers are fully supported with the right tools and advice to sell more effectively. Gerald brings a unique skill set to his position as head of global marketplace through his previous experiences working with some of the brightest and most talented individuals in fintech, banking, and mobile technology, and of course, management consulting industries. We're really excited for this presentation. And with that said, Gerald, I'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Right, let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 a.m. over here in Seoul, South Korea. So I hope all of you had a pretty exciting Monday after Super Bowl. I want to thank Matt and the WTC Utah team for giving me this opportunity to be here to discuss the amazing potential of Korean e-commerce for U.S. businesses. Now, frankly speaking, Korean e-commerce has flown under the radar of international sellers for a while now, but today I'm going to share with you some information that could change all that, right? We'll first start by taking a look at Korean e-commerce as a whole and consumer trends, and then I'll share a little bit more about Coupang and how we can help U.S. businesses like yourself get a start in selling online into Korea. So without further ado, let's get started. Right. Firstly, Korea at a glance. South Korea population is about 50 million people. And actually 70% of South Korea are mountains. So most of the people are just living and about half of the population are actually living in Seoul. So the population density of Seoul is very dense. It's 1.5 times that of New York City. South Korea is also a developed country. The GDP per capita is $35,000. People here have strong income. And, South Korea is the fifth largest economy in Asia. Another interesting thing about South Korea is that it's also the most wired country with 98% internet penetration. Well, it is the home of Samsung and LG after all. Now, Korean commerce is big in Korea. That's $466 billion in 2022, and we expect it to be at $550 billion in 2026. And within that commerce space, if you just look at e-commerce, South Korea is actually the fourth largest e-commerce market in the world after China, US, and the United Kingdom, right? And you may ask, why is a country with only 50 million population have such a large e-commerce space? And I think it's really due to do with the how wired and how connected South Koreans are online. And another thing is, I'm not sure if you have visited South Korea, but about 10, 15 years ago, um, it was very difficult to make online payments in South Korea. You had to install additional software that gave you that they can authorize you to make purchases on websites. And so one of the ways a lot of merchants overcame that was to start creating apps and selling and using mobile web as a main way to sell, so that when these customers bought things on a mobile phone, they didn't have to install those programs to make those purchases. And so that really drove a lot of the payments, the payment behavior, the shopping behavior for Koreans onto mobile. Now, taking a look at a Korean consumer, Korean consumers are actually the world's top per capita luxury spenders, with about $305, spending about $300 per annum per person. And Korean consumers also love coffee. Korea has the world's highest per capita consumption of coffee, right? I think every block there's either a Starbucks or a local boutique cafe. Another thing about Koreans is that they are very health conscious, and the average consumer spends about $200 every year on health supplements. While they buy, most of the time they would buy the supplements locally, but more and more are buying the supplements overseas because they perceive international supplements to be of higher quality than the locally made ones. Another thing is on beauty. I'm sure you've seen BTS, you've seen um, K-pop, how well groomed and these Korean celebrities are. While the local population in Korea, both men and women, are very conscious and of their looks, and they take they take really good care of themselves. And so it's no surprise that South Korean women spend twice as much as their US counterparts on beauty, and Korean men are actually the world leading male spenders on skincare. Here's a list of popular search trends that consumers and Coupang search when they want to buy things that are from overseas. So if you look at apparel, dresses, tweed jackets, food, you can see that a lot of the searches are all related to supplements and healthy ingredients. And of course, beauty, you have shampoo, hair loss, shampoo, body wash, and electronics as well. Now, recently we had a survey with Coupang customers to try to understand what their shopping behaviors are like when it comes to buying products overseas. And here are some of the results that I'd like to share with you. So, firstly, 80% of the customers that we surveyed prefer to buy something from overseas because they're cheaper than the local version in Korea. Right. So for example, Samsung TVs are actually cheaper when bought from the States and shipped to Korea than buying in Korea locally. Another reason why Koreans want to buy things overseas is availability, right? 72% of these customers said they usually buy international selection because these items are hard to get locally, right? Whether it's chocolates or supplements or even outdoor gear. Now, when it comes to the price range of international items, I would say that 30% of these respondents said that they'd be willing to spend about 100 to 300,000 won on one overseas purchase, whereas another third would buy roughly between 50,000 to 100,000 Korean won. It's also important to know that when customers on Coupang buy international selection, um, if they are a WOW member, a Coupang member, we actually don't require them to have a minimum basket size when they buy things. So for some of our customers, they can only they can easily buy something that's $20 or even $30, and we'll be able to to ship it to them at a low cost. Another insight that I like to share is, basically how long would a Korean customer be willing to wait when it comes to buy an international item? Now, what the survey says is about it's about 40% said about 2 weeks, right? And then the most common answer was 4 weeks. But I think the reality from the data that we see is that most customers will be willing to wait up to 7 days. And you also have to know that there are also sellers who are trying to get their products as fast as possible to the customer. And the faster you can get your product to the customer, the more visible your product will be on Coupang. So we typically advise sellers who are interested to ship to Korea to try to make it not longer than 7 days. Now, another thing, as I mentioned earlier, Koreans like to look good. So it's Coupang customers, they chose supplements as their most frequently purchased products, followed by apparel and footwear. Now, food is consistently the most popular cross-border purchase category from the US to South Korea. Chocolate and candies were the most liked food categories, followed by tea, coffee, and drinks, and then cookies and biscuits. Now, in Korea, outdoor and camping is a big trend that has been ongoing for the past 3 to 4 years. So we see a lot of consumers looking to buy more and more camping goods and also sporting goods from overseas. When it came to consumer electronics, interestingly, we saw that a lot of consumers like to buy earphones from cross-border um, sellers, whether it's the Apple EarPods or the Samsung's um, headphones or Bose or Sony's. They're a lot cheaper than trying to buy the same versions locally in Korea. And again, you see me talk about supplements a lot, but I also want to share with you that most of what the top supplement brands are in the survey we did. We had Now Foods, Solgar, GNC, Centrum. And one thing to note is that a lot of these brands have already been in Korea for a while. They're also here locally. So if you're a new supplement brand, you would have to definitely invest in marketing, both on a marketplace like Coupang and also outside the marketplace, whether it's social media or influencer marketing to promote your brand, right? Because South Koreans are they're very smart consumers. They do a lot of research, and so when a new brand comes in, they will immediately go to the website to understand what's that brand's value proposition. So you need to make sure that you have all of this in place before you start promoting your brand in Korea. And specifically for US products, Korean consumers love to buy health food from the US and coffee related products. And then the next second category we see is actually sporting goods, and then personal care. Um, so I'd like to share a bit about the Korean marketing and digital media space so that you can understand how advertising is, what takes to advertise in Korea. Firstly, the Korean advertising industry is $11.2 billion, and over half of all that advertising spend is online. Now, Kakao is the WhatsApp of Korea, and many brands and sellers uh, would use Kakao to communicate to the consumers, whether it's promoting new products or sending coupons. So you should definitely consider this is a channel as you try to promote your brand locally in Korea. And another thing in Korea is that people don't really use Google here. They use Naver. Naver is it's a search portal, and it's where a lot of Koreans go to search for low prices. So now I'll talk about Coupang. So Coupang's main mission is to create a world where consumers ask, how did I ever live without Coupang? We our origin was actually quite humble. We were a deals site similar to Groupon back in 2010. And then in 2015, we transformed our business model to focus into retail e-commerce. And since then, we have grown exponentially to become the e-commerce leader that we are in Korea, that we are today. Right. I have a video that I would play here, but unfortunately the sound doesn't work, so I'm gonna skip it. Let's go through some highlights about Coupang. So we are the 5th largest e-commerce company in the world by revenue, after Amazon, Jingdong, Alibaba, and Meituan. Now the first, everyone knows Amazon. The next 3 companies are actually in China, and then there's us. We also made it to the Fortune 500 last year, ranked 195, a feat that we're really proud of. And so the reason why we've been able to be so successful is really because we focus on our customers' main pain points, right? And their main pain points when it comes to e-commerce is basically convenience and selection. So with Coupang, we are famous for our rocket delivery, which is, we deliver same day, next day, even on weekends and holidays, making sure that customers can get their items anytime, as quickly as they want it. We also have a lot of benefits for our customers through our WOW membership, which is quite similar to Amazon Prime. And we make it very easy for shoppers to make payments through Coupang Pay, and we also provide financing for buy now pay later services for these customers. And I think one of we have a very innovative logistics process that's able to provide it's able to use AI to provide products to sellers and to customers as quickly as possible. Now, when it comes to selection, we have really wide selection from both locally and internationally. And I'll share with you a bit more about how this global marketplace program helps bring international selection onto Coupang. And one thing about Coupang is that we don't just have e-commerce, we also have additional services like our food delivery app called Coupang Eats. We have a content streaming app called Coupang Play, where we focus mainly on sports. So the recent NFL Super Bowl was also streamed on our Coupang Play app, as well as many popular soccer content. And we have live commerce, which actually helps brands and sellers to promote their products in a video format to consumers. So for brands and sellers around the world, the big question is, why sell with Coupang? Well, firstly, we have a lot of customers. We have over 20 million active customers across Korea. And if you think about, that's almost half of the entire population of Korea. The screen you can see on the left, where the number one, the top app has about with the longest bar. That's basically the number of monthly average users on a shopping app. So we are more than 3 times more frequently used than the next shopping app in Korea. We also have a lot of services to make it easy for international sellers to sell, whether it's trying to ship your products to Korea or trying to translate your listings from English to Korean. We have all these different service providers that can provide support to international sellers. We also have API integrations. So if you're a brand, you want to use your own systems to connect to our systems to sell and manage orders, you can do so. And I think most importantly is as an international seller, we you would be able to get multilingual support for your services. So we have English speaking support staff. We also have Chinese and Japanese speaking support staff as well. Now, when it comes to selling online, over here it says what can I sell on Coupang, but generally, what are the things that you can and cannot sell online? Number one, you cannot sell alcohol online in Korea. You cannot sell cigarettes as well, and obviously drugs and pornography. High-end art and used watches over 10 million won cannot be sold on Coupang. If you have any other questions on what can and cannot be sold, feel free to reach out to me after this presentation. Other things that make it a bit more challenging to sell are what the Korean regulators consider as quasi-drugs. So quasi-drugs are basically products that are used to treat a certain medical condition, right? And if a Korean regulator considers a product as a quasi-drug, then it needs to have the local certification and requirements. And sometimes these certifications require a local Korean entity to apply and obtain those certifications. And so because of that, because of these complicated requirements, we do not recommend sellers start selling quasi-drug products, right? You would, and if you have any questions on what products are quasi-drugs, or you need guidance on how to apply for certifications, you can reach out to us and we can help you either direct you to someone who can apply those certifications on your behalf or provide more information for you. Another certification that you need to know when you're selling overseas into Korea is KC certification. KC certification, it is a safety product standard that Korean regulators apply to all products. So you need to know whether your product requires KC. Typically, if a product is targeted at a child less than 14 years old, then you'll need to have KC on it, KC obtained before you can sell that product. And sometimes, again, just like the quasi-drugs, the KC can only be obtained with a local Korean entity. So if a product needs KC, we would usually tell the sellers not to sell it on a marketplace, not sell it cross-border marketplace, but instead work with a distributor, try to import that into Korea and then go through all the necessary certifications. So there are 2 ways that you can sell on Coupang. The first model is the marketplace model. That's self-service. That means the seller controls all aspects of the business operations. You set your prices, you list whatever products you want, and you have to handle the shipping directly to the end consumer, right? For some large and strategic sellers, we do provide account managers that can provide one-on-one support. And if any sellers need help with regards to logistics or translations or marketing, we can connect you to a network of service providers under our Coupang SPN program. The other model is the retail model, or what we call 1P. And this is basically where Coupang Korea or the different entities that Coupang has in the US, China, and Hong Kong buy directly from you, right? It's traditionally, It's your traditional distributorship model where you're selling your products directly to a Korean company, right? In this case, it's Coupang. So in this model, we'll buy from you, and then you would just have to send it over to our warehouses, whether they are in the US or in Korea, and then we will handle all the import declarations. We would list the products in Korean for you, and we would do all the fulfillment and delivery to the end consumer, right? Now, the challenge with this model is that we typically only focus on high demand products. So if you are a new brand and you have not started your business in Korea, you will not be invited to join the retail model, right? So how we advise sellers who are making their first inroads into Korea would be to first start off as a marketplace seller, right? Get some traction with your products, and then you can take that sales data and then go to Coupang or even to a local Korean distributor, and then have them and work with them to promote to get on into Korea through the B2B model. So I'll focus today's talk more on the marketplace. Now, the marketplace, as I mentioned, is self-service, it's open. And the main reason why we have it as Coupang is to really bring as much selection as possible to our Korean consumers. And from a seller perspective, what you can expect to get when you participate in Coupang Marketplace is, you will have a portal to easily manage your orders. You will have support on how to promote and advertise your products, right? And we will also make sure that we have regular training programs to get all sellers up to speed. And if a seller does not have certain capabilities, whether it's advertising or translations or trying to deliver a product to Korea in a cost-effective manner, we can help introduce you to partners who can. And signing up for a marketplace account is very simple. Firstly, it's free, and you just need to have 4 documents, right? Your business license, a government issued ID, so whether it's a social security or your driver's license, a bank statement to prove that you are the owner of that bank account, and a proof of business ownership. It typically takes up to 5 business days to have your account approved. And all that can be done at globalsellers.coupang.com. And once you get an account, the next step is, listing your products. And to list your products, we have a portal which we call Wing. And in the past, Wing was only in Korean, but now we have internationalized it, so it's available in English for all US sellers. And so you can use the product, you can use our portal to easily manage your business. And if you still have any questions on how to use them, you can reach out to us for support, right? And we have an English seller hotline, and that's available 24/7. For some of the sellers who are big enough, you have an account manager who will be able to help you on a daily basis. And then, as I mentioned before, we have monthly training webinars and also the service provider network. And in the service provider network, they provide all these services from logistics, translations, certifications, even setting up a local entities. So if you need help to set up a local Korean entity because you know that you want to invest in Korea and you're serious about the business, we can provide companies that can help you do that. We also have service providers who can manage your entire Coupang account on your behalf for a fee, right? And if you are a service provider and you want to be on the Coupang Service Provider Network, feel free to reach out to me at my email indicated on this page as well. Now, promoting on Coupang, we have several ways to promote your products. There are basically free ways to promote your products and the paid ways. Free ways to promote your products for free would include using all the different promotion tools that we have in our portal. And some of these promotion tools, the main requirement is for you to provide a discount on your product. That's it. And sometimes your products, we can invite you to join specific Global Day products, global promotions, where we feature international selections regularly throughout throughout the year. And then for paid ways, we have product ads where you can create banners and advertisements and promote your products on different real estates of Coupang, and you'll be charged on a cost per click basis. Okay. With that, I come to an end to my presentation, and I look forward to reading your questions and seeing how I can help you with that.
Thank you, Gerald. What a great presentation. I really appreciate you taking the time to go through this. It looks like we have a handful of questions in the chat. Are you able to answer a few of these questions, Gerald? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So let me see.
I can read them out if you want.
Yeah.
We see, do we have plans to connect with print-on-demand companies such as Printful or Printify? Or could I list my print-on-demand made products on your marketplace?
We don't have any connections to Printful or Printify at the moment. And I'm not too sure if we have many sellers who are providing print-on-demand products on our marketplace at this stage. It is something that we can definitely consider. I'd love to talk to you more after this call to see how we can help you start that kind of business in Korea.
There's also a question about whether or not there are language requirements for packaging.
Okay, so if you were to sell your products in a traditional B2B cross-border model, working with a distributor in Korea, then your products, when they're imported in by that Korean distributor, they will need to have Korean food labeling stuck on their products, right? It's a local regulatory requirement. But if you were to sell your food products through cross-border, through a cross-border online direct-to-consumer model, then you do not need to put Korean labels on your food products. And it is for this reason, a lot of US sellers especially like to start selling food or supplement products to Korea through online, right? They don't have to pay. Firstly, they don't need to put the Korean food labels on their products. They also don't need to go apply for KC or food safety certification checks, because this is considered a cross-border purchase direct to the consumer. However, there are some limitations to this because in Korea, when it comes to supplements, for example, if a consumer orders more than 6 bottles of supplements in one day, so if a consumer receives more than 6 bottles of a supplement in one day in Korea, then the consumer will then have to pay duties on top of that, right? So when this happens, the product will be stuck at Korean customs and will only be released after the Korean consumer pays for it, right? But other than the customs duties that could be applied on that international purchase, from a seller's perspective, you don't have to worry about putting a label on the product. You don't have to worry about getting the product certified in Korea. You can just sell it cross-border first. And then once you know that product works and you want to invest and you want to sell more of it locally in Korea by working with a distributor, then you have to, go and get the products, go through the necessary Korean certifications.
The last question we're seeing is if Coupang allows selling and connecting through TikTok Marketplace.
No, we don't, not at the moment.
Those are all the questions.
Brilliant. Thank you, Valentina. I really appreciate that. And Gerald, thank you. I know it's early in Seoul at the moment. Thank you for taking time to join us in your early morning hours. I also, so we've got Gerald's email in there, along with mine. If you're a Utah-based company that's looking for help as well in terms of international expansion, whether that be in South Korea or elsewhere, please get in touch. Don't be afraid to reach out to me personally, and don't be afraid to reach out to Gerald directly. He's got his email there if you have any questions. This is clearly the place to go as you expand into Korea and look for e-commerce options. Coupang is pretty much the only place to go. You need to be exploring this quite intently. So thank you. I appreciate your time and everybody, and really looking forward to the next opportunity, and we'll leave it at that. Appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you.